Hello and welcome back to another fun reading from Michele on Your Shoulder. Today is Tongue Twister Tuesday, and boy, do we have a fun book today. Oh, Say Can You Say by Dr. Seuss. Now, this reading is dedicated to two of my favorite people in the world, my sister Janice, who still struggles with pronunciation, and Mateus, one of my students from Brazil, who has such an easy time pronouncing English words. But you know what? Even when they were challenging, he'd just laugh and say, "Oh, poor Janice could never pronounce this." You know what? He was usually right. So, are you ready to have some fun? Good. Because like I tell my English students, have fun with the language. Learning is so much easier when you're having fun. And on Tongue Twister Tuesdays, there will always be reason to laugh. Okay, let's go. Oh, say can you say, oh my brothers, oh my sisters, these are terrible tongue twisters. Oh, Say Can You Say is a collection of word entanglements designed to twist the tongues of both the young and the not so young. This is a book of hilarity and fun. Parents who read the troublesome tongue twisters out loud and laugh at their mistakes will gain satisfaction from stimulating their children to push their reading skills a little further. Young readers will delight in knowing that Dr. Seuss has set them up, challenged them to experiment, to laugh at their own goofs, and try again. Oh, Say Can You Say is a vocabulary building experience. It is only by encountering new words that a child increases his or her vocabulary. In this book, Dr. Seuss has placed a treasure trove of word sounds within every child's reach. Tongue-tickling vignettes of sense and nonsense that he dares his young readers to say aloud. And in doing so, they will profit from their attempts. For Lee grew the Enunciator. Oh, Say Can You Say by Dr. Seuss, a beginner book in Division of Random House. All right, let's get started. Oh, say can you say, said a book-reading parrot named Hooey. The words in this book are all phooey. When you say them, your lips will make slips and backflips, and your tongue may end up in St. Louis. Fresh, fresher, freshest. Do you like fresh fish? It's just fine at Finny's Diner. Finny also has some fresher fish that's fresher and much finer. But his best fish is his freshest fish, and Finny says with pride, the finest fish at Finny's is my freshest fish French fried. Whew. So, don't order the fresh or the fresher fish. At Finny's, if you're wise, you'll say, fetch me the finest French fried freshest fish that Finny fries. Whew! That was a tongueful. Din's Shin. We have a dinosaur named Din. Din's thin. Din doesn't have much skin, and the bones fall out of his left front shin. Then we have to call in Pinner Blinn, who comes with his handy shin pin bin, and with a thin Blinn shin bone pin, Blinn pins Din's shin bones right back in. Bed spreader, bread spreader. Bed spreaders spread spreads on beds. Bread spreaders spread butters on breads. And that bedspreader better watch out how he's spreading, or that bread spreader's sure going to butter his bedding. Abe cakes, grape cakes. As he gobbled the cakes on his plate, the greedy ape said as he ate, "The greener green grapes are, the keener keen apes are. To gobble green grape cakes, they're great." Are you having trouble in saying this stuff? It's really quite easy for me. I just look in my mirror and see what I say. And then I just say what I see. Now, let's talk about money. You should leave your grox home when you travel by air. If you take him along, they charge double the fare, and your grox must be packed and locked up in a grox box, which costs much, much more than a little old fox box. So it's heaps a lot cheaper to fly with your foxes than waste all that money on boxes for groxes. And what do you think costs more? A simple thimble or a single shingle? A simple thimble could cost less than a single shingle would, I guess. So I think that the single shingle should cost more than the simple thimble would. Eat it, skipper zips. If you like to eat potato chips and chew pork chops on clipper ships, I suggest that you chew a few chips and a chop at Skipper Zip's Clipper Ship Chip Chop Shop. And if your tongue is getting queasy, don't give up. The next one's easy. Okay, how many of you are keeping up with me while you're saying these? There are so many things that you really should know, and that's why I'm bothering telling you so. You should know the first names of the Fudd-Nuddler brothers, who like to pile each on the heads of the others. If you start at the top, there are Bipper and Bud, and Skipper and Jipper, and Geoffrey and Judd, Horatio, Horace, and Hendrix and Hud, and then come Dinwoody and Dinty and Dud, also Fitzsimmon and Frederick and Fudd, and Slinky and Stinky and Stewart and Stud. And down at the bottom is poor little Lud. But if Lud ever sneezes, his name will be Mud. Quack, quack. We have two ducks, one blue, one black. And when our blue duck goes quack, quack, our black duck quickly quack, quacks back. The quack's blue quacks make her quite a quacker, but black is a quicker quacker backer. Whew. And speaking of quacks, reminds me of cracks and stacks and sacks and shacks and schnacks. So, oh say, can you say, I have cracks in my shack, I have smoke in my stack, and I think there's a schnack in the sack on my back. Now we have West Beast, East Beast. Upon an island hard to reach, the East Beast sits upon his beach. Upon the West Beach sits the West Beast. Each beach, okay, this is what happens. Now I have to say it all over again. Okay, West Beast, East Beast. Upon an island hard to reach, the East Beast sits upon his beach. Upon the West Beach sits the West Beast. Each beach beast thinks he's the best beast. Which beast is best? Well, I thought at first that the East was best and the West was worst. Then I looked again from the West to the East, and I liked the beast on the East Beach least. So remember that, kids. Always do over when you make a mistake. Just laugh and do it again. Pete pats pigs. Pete Briggs pats pigs. Briggs pats pink pigs. Briggs pats big pigs. Don't ask me why. It doesn't matter. Pete Briggs is a pink pig. Big pig patter. Pete Briggs pats his big pink pigs all day. Don't ask me why. I cannot say. Then Pete puts his patted pigs away in his Pete Briggs pink pigs big pigs pig pen. Okay, Fritz food and Fred food. Take a deep breath for this one, kids. Fritz needs Fred, and Fred needs Fritz. Fritz feeds Fred, and Fred feeds Fritz. Fred feeds Fritz with Ritzy Fred food. Fritz feeds Fred with Ritzy Fritz food. And Fritz, when fed, has often said, "I'm a Fred-fed Fritz. Fred's a Fritz-fed Fred." Are you laughing yet? How to tell a clots from a glotz. Well, the glotz, you will notice, has lots of black spots. The clots is quite different, with lots of black dots. But the big problem is that the spots on a glotz are about the same size as the dots on a clots. So you first have to spot who the one with the dots is. Then it's easy to tell who the clots or the glotz is. What would you rather be when you grow up? A cop in a cop's cap? Or a cupcake cook in a cupcake cook's cap? Or a fat flapjack flapper in a flat flapped jack cap? Or, if you think you don't like cops' caps, flapjack flappers or cupcake cooks' caps, maybe you're one of those choosy chaps who likes kooky captain's caps. Perhaps. More about Blinn. Well, when Blinn comes home tired from his work pinning shins, the happiest hour of old Blinn's day begins. Mr. Blinn is the father of musical twins, who, tucking twin instruments under twin chins, lull their daddy to sleep with twin Blinn violins. And, oh say can you say, far away in Berlin, a musical urchin named Gretchen von Schwinn has a blue-footed, true-footed, trick-fingered, slick-fingered, six-fingered, six-string tin Schwinn mandolin. Rope, soap, hoop, soap. If you hope to wash soup off a rope, simply scrub it with scrope. Scrope is so strong that no rope is too long. But if you should wish to wash soup off a hoop, I suggest that it's best to let your whole silly souped-up hoop soak in soapy Cooper's super soup off hoops soak suds. Merry Christmas, Mush. I always have trouble with this one. We might have to do this one over. We might need it twice. Okay, you ready? One year we had a Christmas brunch with Merry Christmas mush to munch. But I don't think you'd care for such. We didn't like to munch mush much. Munch, mush. Okay, we're doing that one again. Let's practice that one. One year we had a Christmas brunch with Merry Christmas mush to munch. But I don't think you'd care for such. We didn't like to munch mush much. Oosh. And speaking of Christmas, here are some great gifts to give your daddy. If your daddy's name is Jim, and if Jim swims, and if Jim's slim, the perfect Christmas gift for him is a set of Slim Jim swim fins. But if your daddy's name is Dwight, and he likes to look at birds at night, the gift for Dwight that might be right is a bright Dwight bird flight night sight light. But never give your daddy a walrus. A walrus with whiskers is not a good pet, and a walrus which whispers is worse even yet. When a walrus whispers through tough, rough, wet whiskers, your poor daddy's ear will get blispers and bliskers. And that's almost enough of such stuff for one day. One more and you're finished. Oh, say, can you say? The storm starts when the drops start dropping. When the drops stop dropping, then the storm starts stopping. P.S. And just in case you missed it, do not miss it any longer. Dr. Seuss's Fox in Socks makes twisted tongues much stronger. Okay, and that takes us to the end of Oh Say Can You Say. And keep an eye out. I'll be reading The Fox and the Socks coming up soon. Okay, thanks again for joining me, and don't forget to look for your Dr. Seuss resources and activities below. And if you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to Michele on Your Shoulder to make sure you get the latest videos. And if you liked this book and want more Tongue Twister Tuesdays, please show me some love with a thumbs up. Oh, and who knows, maybe on one of these Tongue Twister Tuesdays, I'll bring Janice or Mateos in for some added fun. See you tomorrow for Wacky Wednesday.